yes there is, but that's provided we provide massage. And he said, do you provide massage? No, I don't provide massage. Therefore, I don't need a license. And he said, oh, then you're right. As the anecdote clearly demonstrates, the state is aware of gay Chinatown. After all, little can hide from the state's regulatory gaze in a country no bigger than New York City. Why then did the state choose not to close down businesses like Alex's staff house? Alex explained that because Singapore is already known as a straight-laced country, such a move would only further reify its dubious reputation. Makes them look like dinosaurs, Alex added. I mean, they're already looking like pre-dinosaurs. They're already looking like dinosaurs. They just don't want to look like pre-dinosaurs. I argue further that leaving the gay businesses be is the state's strategy of dealing with its homosexual citizens. Closing down gay Chinatown would only drive Singaporean gay culture underground and out of the state's control. It might even lead to civil unrest similar to the Stonewall riots and ruin Singapore's reputation as a politically stable business and financial center. In allowing its gay citizens an easily policeable space where they can let off steam accumulated from living in a homophobic society, the state is in reality serving its own ends. In conclusion, the clustering of gay businesses in Singapore's Chinatown can be read in two ways. The first is that of rectification, realizing that Singapore needed both physical reminders of its past and a bulwark against perceived moral erosion. The state designated Chinatown for conservation in 1985. The second is that of homonormativity. The privatization of Chinatown's gentrification paved the way for entrepreneurs to set up gay businesses there. Although these businesses rarely challenge the state's view of homosexuality as perverse, they still constitute deviations from the original moral imperative of conserving Chinatown. Such a twist is, however, not entirely unexpected. As a social formation, homosexuality is not a market segment per se. Nevertheless, as Fisk argues, and I quote, capitalism will constantly try to turn social formations into one by matching its products and advertising as closely as possible to people's own senses of their social identities and social relations, unquote. The result is a case strikingly similar to South Korea, where once the developmentalist state denies its gay citizens their sexuality, the post-developmentalist neoliberal state has now inevitably provided a space in which this illicit sexuality is commodified and sold back to the citizens and curtailed. Hence, even though the Singaporean state is homophobic, the clustering of gay businesses in Chinatown ultimately highlights how both the state and homosexuality in Singapore need not be mutually exclusive. Both have commonalities in consumption that either is willing to admit publicly. Yep, any questions? Or violent objections? Hope not.
Well, first question. I was just looking at one of these just now as he was talking about gay businesses in Chinatown, and this is a map. Most of you would know about this. And there are quite a lot of advertisements for gay businesses in this map. So I was just taking a quick count of how many there are with Chinatown address.
Right.
And I think more than half of them have a Chinatown address. Please, you're free to take one. I mean, I'm meant to be given away free, and I've been very poor. I've been very bad at it. I didn't publish this, but the publisher wants me to help him distribute this. But I mean, even for academic interest, this would be interesting to see how many of them are actually located in Chinatown. And like he said, maybe you can go on a treasure hunt and see whether you can actually find these places.
Some of them really do come across themselves very well. Like there was the one time when I tried to walk past. Actually, I was very interested, so I went to look for all of the saunas in Chinatown West. I have the address. I know Chinatown very well, and it still told me there was the one. What was the old name of that sauna called the Sphere?
V Club.
V Club, right. So that one, it took me. I had to walk down the street several times before I actually found the entrance, because the facade, it was very respectable, so I just thought that it was like some other non-gay business. Until I realized that, I walked past and, okay, this is too much already, which means that the sauna is actually behind me somewhere. But I had to walk past the street several times before I found the club. Right.
Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Perhaps tie things together. You say that Little India has no gay businesses.
As far as I know.
Are you aware of the back lanes? All the homosexuality that
They're free.
Right. But the thing is, I'm looking at businesses here that target mainly a gay and lesbian crowd. Right. Back lanes, I'm sure stuff happens there, but
I actually know somebody who considered opening a sauna bathhouse in Little India.
okay. Right. But what happened?
He found a major stratification,
Right.
social stratification between the guest workers and the local Indians.
Okay.
Apparently, while they were happy once in a while to do it in the back lane, they were not too keen on the idea of legitimizing their conjugal relationships by actually entering the same physical address.
Gay as in the
Usually the local Singaporeans.
Okay.
Right? So apparently there was a problem that, there's this class stratification between the Indian Singaporean and the Indian Indian. While they were happy to do it in the back lanes, they would not walk through the same physical door. That was the market research being done.
Right.
So you have this social stratification, even though they were quite happy just doing it in the dark.
Okay.
But the other thing here is another stratification. The government was keen to clean up Chinatown.
Right.
And of course it helped to move the back lane activity out of the increasingly clean Chinatown. So it was synergistic in that sense.
Yeah.
But that policy doesn't seem to apply in India, in Little India, does it?
Not quite. I guess partly because at least half of the action that takes place in Little India is from the menial laborers.
Yeah.
Right. And the phenomenon doesn't happen in Chinatown.
But it would be interesting for you to address the gentrification of Little India in its name. And why Little India has taken a different path.
Okay. I haven't done that. Okay.
In your study for the Chinatown gay businesses, do you find that there was actual state sanction, like whether deliberate or otherwise? And it's like they actually gave licenses to all these businesses.
Actually, the only businesses that really do need licenses are the bars because they need the license to sell the liquor. Right. Everything else, as far as I can tell, you don't need a license unless the only businesses are those that sell liquor and if you give massage. If let's say you will go to Jocks in Chinatown Point, right? That's a regular business. So the owner said that he didn't apply for a license and there was no need to.
So it just happened to be a natural agglomeration of such businesses in Chinatown.
I think the businesses were there because one, the initial entrepreneurs took advantage of the state's initiative to conserve Chinatown. So they came in posing as a straight investor and turned it that way. And consequently, once you have enough numbers, right, then other gay businesses will also come in to take advantage of it. It's a scale.
I think it's more complicated than that. If I may offer some take on it. The latest conservation district that's hitting the headlines is Juqian. And it's repeating the same problems that Duxton Hill had, Tanjong Pagar had 10 years ago, which was an area that had some traditional businesses who, due to the upgrading and the cost pressures that come from upgrading, are no longer viable in those old shop houses. So now you have these beautiful upgraded shop houses without the traditional businesses in them. And there's a vacuum. Yeah? And when there's a vacuum, then other businesses want to come in. And obviously the only other businesses that